to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I never actually thought I'd be saying I'd be interviewing KALLE SAUERLAND in Telford, but here we are, boxing for you.
Yeah, the old man did a show here 24 years ago with Frank Warren, and it was Richie Woodall, Marcus Beyer, 1999, Marcus Beyer winning the WBC Super Middleweight World Championship, the late great Marcus Beyer. I've got many happy memories of Telford, a quarter of a century ago almost. I mean, incredible. So great to be back in Telford. Very, very different card to that on Saturday night on DAZN though.
But the race is on today in Telford, Kalle.
No, I thought I'm coming to the Midlands. I had a bit of a bad hair day, and I thought I'm going Thomas Shelby.
You've pulled it off very well. You pulled it off.
I'm trying to.
What on earth just happened there, Kalle? Talk me through it.
Well, I mean, whether it's traditional boxing or Misfits Boxing, you never know at press conferences what expects you. But one thing at Misfits, you've come to. First of all, you've got all the guys and girls up here together, which I think is fantastic. You've got that banter back and forth. These are people who have that banter, that's what they do. A lot of them are YouTubers or, influencers or whatever you want to call it, and they know how to give bant. But that weren't bant. That was some serious bad blood that they didn't finish that in the ring. If anyone hasn't seen that fight, go and watch that fight, because even if you don't like crossover boxing and you're a boxing purist, it's actually a purist fight. Walid is a two-time Golden Glove winner, and Dean can really fight. And Dean won that fight, but had been on the floor, I think, 3 times before, and then won it in the last 30 seconds with a fantastic knockout. And they clearly haven't. They have some seriously unfinished business, and it started getting it got a bit silly, didn't it? And we had to keep the one out of the room while the other one was speaking and stuff like that. But fantastic work by the security. They got it under control quickly. There were some unidentified flying objects. I've been informed there were certain female sanitary items. But it is what it is. We move on.
Well, let's talk about a point that's really gathered some attention on social media from this card. It's the tag team stuff. How do you defend that, Kalle?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if I defend something, I have to be attacked. I haven't been attacked on it yet. So, Umar, you are the first one to grill me on it. That's always lovely. Always seems to be you doing the barbecuing with me. No, I mean, look, it's a new concept. It's a concept that has its first big stage on Saturday night. I mean, if you look at when champs are in camp, you'll often have replacement opponents, or opponents being replaced in sparring every 3 rounds, etc., etc. So the idea that you're facing different people in one fight, so to speak, is nothing new to boxing, but in the form of we're going to tag you in because I'm feeling it. I'm coming under here, and I'm going to get my partner in the ring. That's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be something that it's going to be very exciting, because whether you're into crossover boxing or not, it's very, very interesting to see that. A lot will come down to the referee, and that he enforces those rules as quickly as possible. When there is a tag, that there's a break situation, and that tag can come into the ring. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be wild. And the face-off was an interesting one. I was thinking, how do we do a face-off with 4 people? And Team Ice brought along their manager as well.
How many are we expecting at the Telford Arena on Saturday night?
It's a sellout. I'm not sure what the exact capacity. I think it's about 3,000. So yeah, but it's a sellout Saturday night. Absolutely sold out. Every last ticket. Jay Swingler, obviously the main event. Big name around here. But it's, you know, the fun thing about these cards are there really isn't a main event ever for me. It's all right. You've got a series of different storylines throughout the card. So top to bottom, we're going to be very interested. And the great thing is, if you're tuning in, you're going to have a full arena from the first fight. That's something we have got to know, that these fans of Misfits, they turn up from that first fight. That arena will be packed on Saturday night.
Pineda's back from Mexico, back in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, he is really turned into some sort of a cult figure, isn't he? You know, he's almost an icon. So yeah, I mean, the receptions, I'm sure he's going to get a big reception Saturday night, and you know, good on him. I mean, he's got a real great storyline to him. If you don't know, he supports his whole family is basically dependent on him. He's studying at the same time at university. Come obviously from a very, very tough area of Mexico, real cartel country, and you know, it's just, I mean, he has sort of hit the lottery ticket, hasn't he? You know, but it takes two. He's got that personality, although don't speak a word of English. It's just he's got this way about him which I think people have taken to.
Would you do a show in Mexico with Misfits?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No.
You'd love it there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I love the cartel and all that, you know. No, joking aside, no, but Mexico, I mustn't forget, it's one of the only countries where it's boxing then football, you know. So we've had fighters on some cards in Mexico. We've done some stuff with Matchroom in Mexico. Will we take Misfits there? Listen, Misfits, the world tour we announced, we saw some of the places we're going to this year. Some fun ones on there. Ibiza.
See you in Ocean Beach, the Sauerland brothers.
Absolutely, Ocean Beach, here we come. But no, you know, and this can be added to that. That people said, wow, they're doing 10 shows this year. Let's talk in December. Let's see how many we've done.
Just away from this colour, we know your guy Chris Eubank Jr. Activated his rematch clause for Liam Smith. So, where are we? Have you talked to Boxer and Sky about, you know, when we can get a date and venue confirmed for that rematch?
Yeah, we're in daily exchanges there. You know, it's a complicated minefield of putting dates together. There's obviously other events on. You don't want to clash with other events, you know. And you know, it's got to work with obviously ultimately with Sky as well, but most importantly, of course, with both boxers who have to prepare for what is going to be a very big rematch. Yeah.
Did you consider other options? Did Chris consider other options?
You know what? Those sort of situations, it's really the fighter who goes off and does his thing, and Chris doesn't listen to many people. I think it's something he wanted to do straight away. You know, I think that's my feeling on it. You know, so from my point of view, I'm good with whatever Chris chooses, and you know, I said on the evening, I said before the fight, it's a tough fight. We all knew that. That wasn't just promotion. I think everyone, including Liam himself, was surprised how that fight ended. But hey, it makes for a blockbuster rematch, doesn't it?
You say blockbuster because of the way it ended. In your opinion, will it sell again?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we mustn't forget. Watch back the round before. You know, it wasn't like it was a one-sided 12-round beatdown. He caught one. You know, in fact, he caught 3 or 4. Some punches, some elbows. You know, but he caught one. What do you want to say about it? That happens. It happens in boxing. It happens to the best.
Was he weight trained?
I think there's a number of factors that will be improved. Short weights, you know, it's the last 2 fights now that he's coming a pound under. So that's something clearly that is something you've got to address, because you need to be, you know, to make why weigh a pound under, you know. And that was the Liam Williams fight, and also now the Liam Smith fight. That shouldn't be happening, you know. So, but those are things that got a good team around him, and beside it, you know, listen, it's not like he's been around the game for a long time. He's been born into the game, so it's something that he'll look at. He'll know, you know, he's got the right people around him, and you know, I see there's no, you know, for a lot of fighters, they can get crushed with defeats. Junior's not that type of a character. Anyone who knows him, you know, I'm not going to say it's water off a duck's back, but at the same time, he'd be looking at that no differently to the first fight. He'd be thinking, right, you know, that happened, yeah. Things has to, you know, was the camp maybe could have been tougher? Maybe shouldn't that 50-60% maybe needed to be a bit more. But you know, those are things that he'll address with his training team.
Conor Benn has taken to social media and said that this fight will still take place. He put unfinished business with Eubank Jr. Now, considering the question I just asked you about his weight, I mean, you can't have this fight under 160, surely, with Conor Benn.
No, and right now it's not in the forefront. Everyone knows how big that fight is. You know, I mean, the fact we're still talking about it. Every single interview I do around a lot of events has somewhere got that fight in it. It's just like it's like a shadow you can't escape from. So that fight will get made. When it gets made, we'll see. You know, we'll see.
What did you make of his statement?
You want me to be totally honest? I haven't read his statement yet. I saw what the WBC put out. Look, I haven't seen the 3,700 page report, so I can't make a comment on it. I can just say, right, that's what it is. In boxing, and people say, oh, it's just some dodgy promoter. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But we're in a game that we have bodies. You know, some of them are quicker than others. Some of them you agree with more than others. But at the same time, there's a clear decision being made that he's free to box again. So that's all. You know, it's black and white. What do you want me to comment on it? On why? I don't know. I don't know what case they put forward. I don't know what's in that 2,700 page report. So you know, they've clearly taken a long time, given that this was back in October or beginning of October, late in September. It's just for me that this really gets to me in this sport is it's so slow. I mean, in a sport that's not a team sport where these guys and girls have got a very short career, a year at a prime of someone's career, it's like me saying to someone, "Oh, well, you know, your working life, I'm going to reduce it by 10 years." It's the same thing. In a normal sphere of life.
Wait, there's a fighter right here. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
It's Walid. There we go. After ripping apart my press conference.
Obviously, that fight, I know it's not at the forefront of your mind, but you've mentioned that will happen, Eubank Jr. and Benn. Now, that's a UK fight, obviously. Conor Benn hasn't sorted his situation out with the board. I know he's not your client, he's Eddie Hearn's client, but how does that function?
My reading on it is he didn't renew his licence. Is he going to go and try and get himself a UK licence now? I don't know. He's going to get himself an American licence. He can get a licence anywhere on planet Earth apart from the UK right now. Yeah. The UK, and maybe he can get it in the UK. I don't know. He's going to have to go to the board and say, right, I'm cleared to fight. Here's, you know, and this is where it gets even murkier. Is the board do not acknowledge VADA. They acknowledge, or they use UCAD. His UCAD tests were negative. So, how does that spin in the whole thing? But you know, and again, we're on the receiving end. We were on the receiving end in October, and you know, you've got to look at it and just shake your head and just think, what the fuck is going on here?
How do you think the board have handled this?
Just very slow, and I know everyone's got to cover their own arses, but that's how I feel like. You know, we were told at the time to talk to lawyers. Why talk to lawyers? What's Chris done wrong? Why can't Chris get a hearing with it? Why can't Chris be told, right, this has got to be done, that's got to be done? You know, Chris has done absolutely nothing wrong. So why is he not afforded as a license holder, a discussion with the board? You know, why did it take so long to cancel a fight? Clearly they were not going to sanction to start with. And in the end, they didn't ban him. They just said, well, we're not sanctioning the fight 3 days out on the basis of, in the interest of boxing. It's still, unfortunately, it's still 6 months the other side of it, or 5 months the other side of it. It still stinks to high heaven, doesn't it?
Thoughts on him fighting Manny Pacquiao potentially?
Who Chris?
Conor Ben.
Oh,
I'm not throwing that curveball at you.
I don't know. I don't even know if Pacquiao was still fighting.
Well, he's been retired for a few years, but
Yeah, no, we were talking to some of his team, Mams, our partner in Misfits. We're talking to Manny Pacquiao about a fight on Misfits. So yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't know what shape Pacquiao is in now, but the name is the name, isn't it? You know.
just lastly, we've got to talk about KSI, and it relates, of course, to what happened on the weekend with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. So, yeah, get your first thoughts on what happened on Sunday in Saudi Arabia.
I think we saw the level of interest in crossover boxing because the whole country was talking about it. So that's point one. I think point two is Jake Paul's, giving off that aura of invincibility has come crashing down. I think Tommy Fury looked like a man who was very relieved at the end of that fight and was looked like he just won the World Cup. And good on him. I really had a moment for him because he's just become a father. He seems like a really nice fella. Actually, out of all the Furies, I don't think I've ever met Tommy, but he seems like a really nice lad. And I do get on with the whole family. So I said before the fight, my heart is with them. And that has nothing to do with my relationship with KSI. I do think that what I saw at the fight when we talk about Jake Paul is, it will depend on. I'm sure he'll come back from that loss and he'll improve from that loss. I'm sure should do. But one thing's for sure is that what his weaknesses that he showed are exactly the perfect weaknesses for a man with speed and power like KSI is. So you don't have to be a genius to work that one out. So I think that the confidence on our side, it went up highly on Sunday night.
Speaking to Tommy's promoter yesterday, Frank Warren, he said that they want to do the Jake Paul rematch and then they will look at Tommy and KSI. Have you held any talks with either Jake Paul's team since the fight or Tommy's team?
No, because I know, you can talk a week after a fight, it's all bullshit. So, there's no point in that. I'm too experienced to know that you're going to suddenly make a fight within a week of a fight. They'll have a rematch clause which has to be activated. That takes time. I'm also not stupid. I mean, he's just had a baby. He's just had the win of his life. As if he's going to go and do the rematch tomorrow. I mean, come on, they're totally unrealistic.
Is Jake Paul more realistic next to KSI, do you think, than Tommy?
We've got things planned already with KSI. Obviously around the Misfits events, but at the same time, it's such a big fight that you always want to make it at the drop of a heartbeat. But I don't know. Maybe I'm totally misreading. Maybe they get the rematch on in 3 months' time. I don't think so. I don't think anyone. I think Tommy's going to go off and celebrate this and celebrate quite rightly becoming a father and stuff like that. He's had two huge moments in his life in a very short space of time. Congratulations to him, and I'm sure he'll be enjoying himself. And we know that when the Furies celebrate a win, it can take a few months before they decide to come back to boxing again. That might run in the family. So will we see the rematch? Yeah, we probably will do, probably in a couple of years' time.
This shot's gone really cool. You're just like, look at that.
Yeah, I done that on purpose. I mean, I'm literally, trying to fit into this grainy. We are in the Midlands, trying to make it grainy.
It's come into my head actually. I'm sure those plans for KSI involve a stadium. So he's an Arsenal fan, you're a Tottenham fan. So what if he says he wants to box at Emirates and you want the show at Tottenham?
Yeah, well, he's the one getting in the ring, so I don't really have much to say there. I did have a sneaky try, but I don't think we got any chance there. No, and also Arsenal Prime and the whole relationship. So yeah, but then again, I don't feel that bad because I mean Frank did Tottenham in December, didn't he? So he's a season ticket holder at Arsenal, isn't he? So you know.
Well, the Sauerland brothers could be promoting at the Emirates on that note.
But I'll be sitting in the away end
with that cap.
On that note, Umar, how was your Sunday?
What, in Saudi Arabia? It was fine, thank you. No football talk.
Did you get football out in Saudi Arabia? Did you watch the Tottenham Chelsea?
I didn't even bother it. Do you know what? Your brother rung me. So I was just about to leave for the venue, and he went, "Please urgently call me." And I just forgot. You know, the game had ended. I said, "What's up?" And then he sent me a video laughing in bed.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think he was in New York, wasn't he? Okay. Yeah, and but I've called him up after the game. I'm like buzzing, and I'm thinking, right, what Chelsea fans do I know that are on Twitter? So I came up with Darren Barker, Astrid Wet, and Umar, who actually. My brother texted me Umar. Who else to tag into the tweet? So sorry about that, but you know we've had a rough time against you lot over the last couple of decades. So nice little win.
In fine company there with Darren. I'm ending this. But yeah, in fine company with Astrid Wet and Darren Barker. That's a mix, isn't it?
Hey, you know, I've got to mix it up. You know, got to mix it up.
Thank you very much, Kalle. All right, top man.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.